Hello. So I'm going to talk about reviews and inspections. So you may be a bit surprised to know that the reviews and inspections of artifacts, and in particular of code artifacts, are really successful and efficient in terms of the detection of faults in the code. Okay? And not even of faults, but in the overall quality of the artifact. So you may not detect a fault, but for instance, if you, as a result of a review, you get a cleaner and easier to understand piece of code, it means that probably the probability that there isn't faults is smaller. And at the same time, it means that when people are going to read it, it's going to understand it, and probably is not going to write bugs or to introduce faults because of a misunderstanding of what is written there. So more and more, the companies and the big companies that have as well the money that can pay, because of course code reviews are expensive, okay, are doing this. So you will find, for instance, I will show you a Google set of practices that where a document where they describe how do they do, or to what are the, how should you do code reviews. Okay. So there are empirical data that tells us that 60% of errors can be in the code can be found by code reviews and by analyzing the code. Okay, and which techniques are going to follow to do it? Because there are several techniques. You can, for instance, have a set of checklist. Okay, and you just, when you read the code, you try to see if all the aspects. So you try to verify the aspects that in the checklist, so that to see if the code conforms with the checklist. Okay, and another thing that is very common is that you have a style, a programming style in your company, and it's important that the code follows the programming style, so that the code is uniform, is easy to read, and actually everybody in the team has the same culture, and this culture in some way is reflected in the coding style. Another thing that is a benefit of doing reviews and code inspections is that by having people reviewing the other people, you create a culture of learning inside your company. So as you receive the feedback for your code, you learn, so someone is teaching you. But of course, this also has some problems in terms of human interrelationships, because then you should be you should follow some rules, so that this is always seen in the positive side, of course. The last thing before I'm going to show you some concrete examples is that although reviews and inspections are human-based, today there are more and more tools that start to help on this. Okay, you start to have a lot of static analysis tools that can give you feedback on your code. So, and basically told you whether the code follows some style, or whether you have that code, or whether something is not invoked, some method is not invoked, or if a method is too long, to has too many lines. So you can receive a lot of feedback from these tools that allows you to improve the code, although probably it's not a bug, but is a source of noise in your code. So probably I'm going to show you first one of these tools, that is SonarLint, installed as a plugin in IntelliJ. Okay, so let's see. So I've installed this plugin. You can install that plugin as well. And the only thing you need to do, you go there. So I'm gonna check all the code, all our source code. So I go to SonarLint and say analyze with SonarLint. Okay, it's going to analyze our files, and it's gonna give feedback for each one of them. And we'll see, we can always find places to improve the code. So it's something that you can run frequently. And what actually is happening is that in terms of research, in terms of products, we'll have more and more support of these type of tools to help you to improve your code. So in the future, there will be more and more part of the normal development environment of a development team. And then you can observe the results. So now I can come here and there are two issues there. So, and I click on the issue. Well, here there are some imports that are not used anymore. So this is noise in my code. I just gonna remove them. Then I move to the next one and look, it's removed. I look to the next one and say remove this unused. So, well, that's a private method that is not used anymore. Okay, so that's nice to remove it. Okay. And another one, remove this unused. So this is an example of a tool like SonarLint helps you to improve the code. So this does some type of code review. So why this is good? Because this is the kind of thing that a human reviewer would help you, but this can be done upfront before you submit the code for reviewer. So the human being can use more of his intelligence, for instance, to help you on design issues, more complex issues, and this allows to remove part of the work, and so that the reviewer can concentrate on and focus on where he can contribute with more of his knowledge. Okay. So, and then another thing that I'm going to show you is that actually code reviews is a human process. And I have these Google's engineering practices on code review, and we'll see a few things, and we'll see that it's a human process. So there are some almost polite rules as well, how to proceed. Okay, not only technical rules. So the standards of a code review. So what is the goal? So the goal here is that you don't want to achieve. So code is something that you can always improve. So when you do a code review, you should balance the kind of things that you want to ask to your colleague to do, balance in terms of the time it's going to take. So your goal is that you're going to improve this a little bit. Of course, if you find some errors that are that just compromise the code, you just say you need to change this and you don't approve it. But you can write a lot of comments that can be followed, not now or later, depends on the time, but that convey some knowledge that is going to be shared between you and the developer that wrote the code. Okay, so this idea of mentoring is quite important. Okay, and then the idea of how do you resolve conflicts. So because conflicts are going to occur. Okay, so and this is relevant when you do code reviews. Okay, another thing that is relevant is what to look for in the code. And we have seen with these tools, maybe the less interesting part is what these tools like code analysis like SonarLint do. Now we have more interesting things about in terms of the functionality. So when you are reading the code, understanding what is going to be the functionality. So have some user point of view, end user point of view. Okay. And another thing that is relevant, and I think is something that a new engineer, right? It's a newbie. It's a bit one of its faults is to over-engineering things. Okay, so you learn about design patterns and you want to use design patterns. So in code reviews, they probably an older developer is going to tell you, do it the simplest way. Do not generalize code that is not necessary to generalize now. Because this idea of managing complexity is quite important in the code review, so that if you, as a reviewer, can see a simpler way to solve the same problem, this is a big contribution. So what is difficult in code is actually solve it the simplest way. And then see if the code is testing, and the tests should themselves be reviewed, because as you have more and more tests, the maintenance cost of this test is high, so you should look at it from that point of view. Another thing is namings. So the names are one of the most fundamental part on the quality of the code. A good name is the best thing you can have, okay? So giving feedback on the names, reading the name if the name is meaningful or not, and then all this thing about comments, okay? So, and I think that what is interesting is that you should have comments to explain why, not to explain how, okay? Why? Because, look, how you should read the code. So if you need a comment in the code to explain how the code is implemented, okay, then it means that your code is not really readable. But then sometimes you need to have comments, yes, to say why I use this algorithm here, okay, why I have use this code that is less readable, and then it's relevant to have this, of course, and then the style. Okay, so there are a few things that you review, and I want to show from these something that I think is also relevant is the speed of the reviews. So reviews should be fast, because look, the reviewing process is a process that you write code, you just push, for suppose that you are doing a review through a pull request, you do a pull request of your code, and then you want to receive feedback for this code, because as fast as you receive feedback, your mind is still in the right context to read the feedback quickly and to apply and correct things and change the code. If you receive the feedback 3 days later, you have been involved in other tasks. So there should be rules inside the reviewing process that says you should provide feedback fast. And if you have a very large code to submit into code review, it's better to submit in small parts so that you receive feedback. So the idea, well, this pervades all the software development thing. Feedback is quite a relevant thing, okay? Quick, rapid feedback is quite relevant. And so, and there are a few more things that I suggest that you read, okay, to see in terms of courtesy and giving guidance. So being positive when you do code reviews. So what's interesting here about code reviews is that unexpectedly, code reviews are quite important for the quality of the code and for the quality of the team. Okay, and it's not just a technical problem, it's a human problem, and you may find problems that occur between humans when they basically do their work and work together, and so it's important to follow these rules and try to comply and be positive when doing reviews. So reviewing is a process of learning as well, and this is quite important. Okay, I think that's all. Bye.